Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of ORU Golden Eagle Update. I'm Jaci Bigham, here with women's volleyball player Sheina Fernandes. You guys obviously had a great win on Thursday night. What happened and what helped you break the losing streak and get on track with conference play?
I think definitely we changed our attitude, and we were losing before and we're struggling communication, having fun and playing together, celebrating. We always had the same attitude if you make a point or if you make a mistake. So I think our attitude was the greatest thing that made us win, and hopefully that's going to keep us like rolling and winning. As you say, that was actually the thing that helped us to win after losing all those games was our attitude.
Was there something specific in practice that you guys did to turn it around for Thursday night's game?
After losing, we work on like calling the ball a lot and communicating. So, like silly mistakes like free ball or passing the ball or let the ball drop on the floor because no communication happened. We work on like calling the ball every time in the warm up and things like that, or calling the ball when you pass. And while before we even did like sprints, how many sprints you go, as many times you didn't call the ball. So some of the things that we work on communication was just something that we really work on to not make any silly mistakes in the game that can cause us a loss.
Well, you guys also had a great showing on Saturday against Nicholls State. What made you so dominant in that game as well?
I think again our attitude, and we learn how to have fun and actually do what we know how to do it well. That's play volleyball. We had the chance to let some of the bench to play. We were playing so well. We had fun. We helped each other, and we had a great game. And we just have to focus on keep going and practicing even harder to keep going on our confidence.
You guys have a huge away conference schedule coming up. How do you keep the momentum going in this road trip coming up?
Just practice hard and do whatever you do in the game. Try to do in practice, communicate, and always have a great attitude. Not let you go down if you make a mistake. Just keep going, helping each other, and step on the court with a very confident attitude and trying to give you 100% every time.
Well, you've been playing great, and a lot of that is because, you've been playing out of position previous year, but you're back to middle blocker. How does that affect the team and give just an extra umph to the team?
Well, that was a very challenging year for me because I played middle since I was, little, and ORU actually never saw me playing middle before. I never played with them as a middle, so they didn't even know how I played. So for me, last year was very challenging, and this year I feel very comfortable doing whatever. Like if the ball is bad, I can fix it. It's just much easier for me to play as a middle, and I feel like I'm always on top of things, and I'm very confident doing my things, and just helping a lot.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and good luck in your road trip coming up. All right, stay tuned. We have more on men and women's soccer when we come back.
ORU has an incredible balance of the classes and the teachers. You get a good education. It teaches you a lot of principles, a lot of really the whole person, whether it's socially, physically, spiritually, just in every aspect. Whether it's through the chapels, whether it's through worship, whether it's through the student body. You do have the opportunity to go into every person's world because you've been trained in education. You have the knowledge, you have the degree, but also your spiritual life, your spiritual maturity, it really trains that from the other end of things. I think one thing that captures me about ORU is just the opportunities that goes beyond the classes, the outside programs, whether it's ORU missions, whether it's ORU, student leadership opportunities as you're either serving or participating or leading in those areas. I think it just really it's taught me a lot, even in just, my 2 years here now.
Welcome back to ORU Golden Eagle Update. I'm here with women's soccer player Lauren Parks. You guys obviously had a great game against Omaha, the 2-0 win. What did you guys do to make you so successful in that game?
Well, we were really just planning on using our strengths that game. We knew coming out that it could be a challenge to be aggressive on that game, leading us up into the Creighton game. And we just knew that if we pulled it out and then if we just focused on our away games and getting our mind focused as a team and as a team as unified as we could, we knew that we could come away with the win and leading us into another great game on Sunday. So.
Well, the 2-0 win, obviously the offense was clicking, but to keep them on a shutout, the defense was too. Is the whole team just really clicking right now?
I mean, if you look back at the beginning of the season, we had some struggles coming in, but we knew how the talent was on the team, and we knew if we can get used to each other with all the new players that we have coming in, that once we can get used to each other and get unified as a team, that we could really pull it together. And I really feel like the last couple of weeks we've been clicking, and I feel like that's a big part of our success here this weekend and upcoming for the conference.
Huge win against Creighton. The 1-0 win. It took double overtime, though. You guys had went to double overtime against Tulsa about a week ago. Did that experience help you guys pull out the win here against Creighton?
I feel like since we've had a few overtimes this season, we were more able to use like time management skills and kind of knew already pre-planned of what we were going to do if it came to an overtime situation. So yes, I think through the previous experience of overtime, it really helped us to use time management and to be able to pressure when we needed to and to hold off when we needed to strategically plan how we were going to attack and how we were going to hold them, and eventually leading us to a win the last couple of minutes of the game. So it really helped us using our previous experience.
Is all that strategic management, time management, really important when fatigue becomes a factor?
Oh, very much so. Especially playing an away game where we've been on a surface that's not our own surface, and we've been in buses and we've been staying at hotels that we're not familiar with. Strategic management definitely comes into play, especially since we don't have fresh legs here, and we're limited on the amount of players coming off a couple injuries too. I feel like getting focused in our minds and really having a plan beforehand on how we're going to handle the game and what pace we're going to go at and how we control the game really affects our play and how we can win and come up on top on some of those games.
Well, you guys have really had a strong back line the entire year. Talk about what that's really meant to the team and how you built on that.
Yeah, our back line, it's just one of those things, like, if we're struggling as a team, as long as, like, if we can't get scored on, then we can't lose. Mm-hmm. And so defense comes into a big play in that factor. So we've really, as a back line, we have some experience back there. And now that our keeper has some experience back there as well, and we've been able to kind of click as a back line with our keepers and our midfielders up there. We've been able to really hold it together, and just knowing that even if the team's off, like as a back line, if we become error free and don't let them in, then that's a big thing for a shutout. And if we can't pull out the goals, then the least we can do is hold them out from the goals that they're getting against us, and hopefully that'll just keep us strong going on into conference.
Well, speaking of conference, your first conference game against Stephen F. Austin is coming up. What's the game plan for going in there and stealing a win?
We've had some success lately, and we're just going to keep playing our game and keep working on the things we need to work on. Even though we've had some success, there's still a ton of things we need to work on as a team and keeping unified through the conference season. So we're just right now just trying to focus on the things we need to learn from previous games and trying to just move ahead into conference, because we have some tough competition coming up, and it's no time to back down right now. So,
all right, well, thanks for being here, and good luck in conference play.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be back with more on men's soccer when we return.
We are wholly dedicated
to seeing the whole picture,
to serving the whole world,
to experiencing a whole world of opportunities.
For a university founded on the whole person, body, mind, and spirit.
Hi, and welcome back to ORU Golden Eagle Update, here with men's soccer player Craig Rogers. You had the only goal in the Air Force win a couple weeks ago. Talk about the build-up to that goal.
Well, we had a corner, and they'd pressed us a lot in the game, and I guess they were getting tired. So we threw a couple of extra guys up to try and get the goal. It came in, it went out on the far side, and Lalo, a little Mexican lad, put the ball over, put it right on my foot. I brought it down, beat my man inside, and space opened up, so I just smashed it and it went in, luckily.
How relieved were you when it went in?
Oh, it was, considering the record before and the way we were going, it was the best feeling. You know what I mean? It felt at the time like it was going to be a turning point. So.
Well, how much of a relief was it for you and the team to finally get the first win of the season out of the way?
It meant everything to us. It was everything we were working for, and the weeks leading up to it, it was the one thing we were focused on the bus all the way to Colorado, and we got it eventually.
Well, you guys started conference play against Oakland and dropped that game, but how does that play prepare you for the conference to come, and how do you approach the games coming up?
I think the Oakland game, we didn't perform like we wanted to, obviously, with the home opener in the conference. We wanted to send a message and make an impression, and it didn't happen. So we've got to look at that ourselves. I mean, from the top down, the coaches, the players, we've all got to stand in the mirror, look at ourselves, and say we can all do better. The preparation for the next game, we can we can take the experience forward from the Oakland game and hopefully learn the lessons and put things right from here on in.
What's the biggest thing that you guys need to work on in practice going into the conference and really focusing on your games to come?
There's a couple of things we can look at. I think the preparation from the first couple of days has got to be a little bit better. I mean, training's been good, but it's not been what it should be. And I think that's between coaches and players. We can be better altogether, and we're striving to do that from here on in. So we should see a real difference.
Well, your second game coming up against IPFW, it's in Fort Wayne. Will the weather affect how the team plays?
I wouldn't expect it to change us too much. I mean, we don't play too much of the long ball or anything like that. The pitch I've heard it's quite nice for passing football on, and that's what we're going to be working on this week. So hopefully it'll suit us.
Well, what will be the main focus of practice this week going into the second conference game?
Scoring goals and attacking. I think that's been probably our biggest problem this year. At times we defended well, so it's all about putting form to what we can do.
Well, you have a great accent, obviously from England, but how is the play different in English style from this American style that we play?
In England, I think it's a lot more aggressive. I mean, there's boys here who will play football more at times, and in England it's sometimes more physical. You've got to be bigger and be able to hold the ball rather than be able to pass the ball as much. And I guess the English game's a lot more long ball and that kind of thing. So it's a different style, but it's good football.
Has it taken you just a while to get in the flow of things to adjust to this type of play?
It was definitely a change when I first came over, but having been lucky enough to play for some good teams in England, it's the kind of football I prefer to play. So it's a good fit for me being here.
Okay, well, good luck in your game coming up against IPFW. All right, well, that's it for this week's edition of Golden Eagle Update. We'll see you next time.